Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Assessors meeting on October 8th, 2019. We are being videotaped by LCAT, and we tape our own meetings, and no one else is in the office to view it. And we'll start off with a review of the minutes from the 13th and the 17th of September.
Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed the open session and executive session minutes for both the September 3rd meeting and the September 17th meeting, and I find them to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Second.
There's no discussion. I got a second from Marilyn. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll start off with the warrant. Boat excise commitment for 2020. $2,899.
And then the second one is the commitment 5 for motor vehicle excise, and those tax bills are going out on October 18th due November 18th.
And we have a monthly motor vehicle excise abatement report for 3 years, 17, 18, and 19.
There's the information signing on the back. Just happened to fall. The signatures fell on the back.
And now on our computer we can take a look at the LA3 sales report for August. There was a sale that should be a non-arm's length code, and that is second page, third one down.
Okay.
That's family.
Okay.
The maiden name of the person.
Oh. I will get that updated. Thank you.
Yep. I saw that today.
I happened to find that, if I'm not mistaken, it was not on the MLS either.
Right. It was not. It's mother-son.
Mm-hmm.
So some low ratios out there.
Mm-hmm.
So Marilyn, just for these sales, this is for next year, and the ratios are still low at 87-98, which means they're selling over assessment in a majority of the cases. There is one outlier.
Are you talking the last one?
No, I'm just talking.
Oh.
I'm just talking about the 1.05 one.
Oh, I thought you were talking
the last one.
The last one on the page, 1.5.
Yeah, well, that's a business.
Right.
I'm thinking more residential.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the current value is the value that's in our spread now or not?
So that, I can't remember exactly when the values got updated.
Right.
So they were updated within the last month, but I want to think it was closer to the 23rd.
I'm kind of curious on the sixth one down.
I could pull up and see what the value is in.
Because boy, are we good if it's the what it is now.
Just take a moment to load.
Not that we're not good, but you know.
Yes, we are. Which one were you referencing?
The 1.00.
Oh, that one I actually worked on, and that is a conversation we can have when we do valuations.
Okay.
So had I looked at that, yes, that is the value it is right now.
Current new value.
Current new value.
Coming up for the new year.
Yep.
Okay. Do you fudge it?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I actually did a review of all of A and A minus grade homes and year builts and some of the sales.
All right. As long as you're not chasing sale price.
Actually, there was a couple of them that got updated due to that.
All right. Any questions from anyone in LA3?
Nope.
Bill, you good?
Good, yes.
All right, moving on to Director's Report.
So the cyclical and personal property inspections, personal property, they were all completed. We're finalizing the data entry right now. There are approximately 125 more cyclical inspections that we had hoped to complete before the end of the year, and if time permits, we will complete them. Any data that we collect will be updated for after the January 1 because we're hoping to be freezing our values to get certified. The FY20 form of lists, we have been doing the data entry detail in order to complete the LA4. As I mentioned to the board as prior to the meeting, I've been having a little issue, and I believe our software vendor has rectified it about 420, so
Okay.
I did not have a chance to test it as of yet. Having a very difficult time when we review some of the forms of lists because people handwrite these lists and they squeeze it into the little spaces. And it's extremely difficult to try to understand what they're writing. We do encourage people to fill out a very simple Excel spreadsheet to follow the format so we can have a better understanding of what they have. Once they create that Excel spreadsheet, they just have to remove things or add things as they've added to their or deleted from their business. So we're going to continue to encourage that. I'd love to find a way to have everyone have to submit it in Excel so you can actually read it, sort it. I had one company that sent me probably 500 items.
Wow.
And they're listed all by alphabetical by the type of machine, and so one might be a 2009 and then a 2015, and it's so hard to sort through any of these. So, but in any event, that takes a little bit longer, but we have maybe 15, we have about 35 new businesses, and we ran into an issue of getting the assets into, we could create the accounts, couldn't get the assets into it because of the personal property year that our software was set to, and they had to write a special script for us to be able to update it, and that, like I said, just took place. So FY20 recap documents, the board is going to be seeing during this meeting the values after they have explained the direction that they felt that we should be going into, and hopefully we have zoned right in on their expectations. We're going to be looking to have an LA3 signed, an LA4, an LA13, LA13A, and an LA15. Once all of those are signed, we'll be able to submit to the state and then schedule a tax classification hearing. Because the personal property did not get done in time for this meeting, I think we're only going to be able to really sign off on the LA3, LA13A, and the LA15 with the hopes for the other two forms to be ready by the end of the week. We do have a new assessing administrative assistant, Nicole Moriarty.
I forgot to come in.
She joined our team on the 29th. She's picking up quickly. She wants to assist the residents. She's very committed to customer service, so that is awesome. It's a big learning curve for her, but she's just taking it in little by little, and she hasn't run out the door screaming and saying, I'm not coming back. So good for us. So yes, please do stop in if you haven't. And then I do have upcoming events, but you're also going to hear most of them a little bit later in the meeting. We're going to be having a fall conference for the MAAO, fall conference for the HHCAA, and the annual meeting and holiday gathering for the HHCAA. That's the Hampshire County Assessing Association. And we are scheduled for ATB in Boston on the 12th and 13th of November. That's
Oh, we are?
Yes.
For one property?
For one property. Our attorney has set that up.
Okay.
With their attorney.
And that's it for the...
That's it for the reports and the director's report.
Okay. And we have a discuss a chapter 61B application.
I'm gonna just stop really quick, right in between, after reports, we have a motor vehicle and boat abatement authorization. Because we have a new employee, the board has authorized us to be able to expedite abatements when someone comes into the office, as long as it's a cut and dry.
Yeah.
We have all the documentation, and then you sign off after the fact.
Yep.
Sorry.
Thank you.
We have now included Nicole on this, and she's already picked up being able to do them, so she's been processing them, and I have to sign off on them until she's got the authorization. Did you want to go out of order and go to the 61B?
No, I was looking at what we were talking about, the LA stuff, so I went after that, then you went seminars.
Oh, okay, so we do have to discuss the
Evaluations and reports?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So I do have on your blue disc, there is an Excel spreadsheet that has all of the old to news. This is a quick review of the interim adjustment, how we did our updates. So as I'm starting off, the LA3 sales report and the LA15 interim adjustment will require signatures in order for me to submit it onto the gateway system. And previously the board discussed the 2018 arm's length sale in the median target for our FY 2020 values. Originally we saw that our single family homes, based on the prior year's cost tables, showed the assessment to sale ratio dropping, and the board discussed the percentage of increase, noting somewhere between 2.5% to 3%. It's very hard to do that 0.5% in the computer system because then you do not have rounded numbers. We did go with a 3%, so the building and the land increased globally by 3% to have an average home increase.
Single-family homes.
Single-family home overall of 3%. There were 202 single-family home sales reviewed, so that was a very good sampling to show us that
Were
it was.
those arm's length or was it all sales?
Those were all arm's length sales.
Right.
So we have increased the single-family to 3%, increase in our value, and brought it to an assessment to sale ratio at a 98%. 100% is where they recommend us to be. This affects both the land and the improvements. We did take time to review the higher end A- grade homes. We found the ones that were built in the 90s, that the CDU may not be considered an A- in today's market. Based on some of the sales, we did adjust a few properties to be reflective. So if they were in the 90s and we saw the interiors, especially with multiple listings that we have been able to see, and we finding that they are dated, we really are having a hard time considering them an A or an A- in today's market standards.
So you changed to B pluses?
Yes.
And Bs?
Mostly
or just
B pluses. Yeah.
Okay.
Prior to any table changes, our residential condos were at a 99, and we had discussed bringing them closer to the single family. And again, it's very hard to take a number and then reduce it and get them identical. So our residential condos are at a 0.96, and our single family are at a 0.98. We only needed 1 calendar year. We either have to use 10% sales or at least, 2% of the total class we would need of sales, or at least 10 sales, and we did have at least 10 sales. There was no global changes to two-family home properties.
Before you go on there, so just for the townspeople, what did our condo went down?
The residential condos did come down.
About what percent?
3%.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that's out there.
Yep. And just so you know, we did have 12 arm's length sales for residential condos.
Okay. So a decrease of about 3%.
Right. There were no changes to two-family homes. We only had 2 arm's length sales. They are at that 100% mark. We need to be within a 5% of whatever your major class of property is. So our major class of property in East Long Meadow is a single-family home. So we can either be 5% low 98% ratio, or we could be 5% above. So you'll find that we're right in within a 2%. Vacant land sales, we only had 3 arm's length sales for vacant land, and they are at a 96% ratio. Chapter lands, we never count that into a ratio study, but we are now being able to round them off so we don't have these really funky values of like $21,886 in value.
50 cents.
And 50 cents, yeah. They are being rounded like all other properties. It was something that we were unable to do in our last version, but we're able to do this with our newer software, so it makes it more consistent. And commercial and industrial properties were also globally changed to receive the same 3% increase that single-family homes saw. A review of some properties saw a larger increase due to their income and expense forms, especially the properties that we had been reviewing on an annual basis because they were vacant and now they are being occupied. So now that they're an income producing, we can look at the income coming from the property and do a very quick income approach to value, utilizing their income, vacancy, expenses, and cap rate to validate the values. With that said, we have this sheet for you. It might be on the computer, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I just sometimes feel it's easier to like look at it
You
on
think we're blind, I know. Marilyn is.
Not quite.
So this sheet is giving you the class comparison. You can see your FY19 values and then our FY20 values, and then what the gross percent change is. But then you have to also remove the new growth. So when you do that, you will see the net percent change of single family homes is the 2.61. Again, condos down. Mixed use is down, 109s, which is multi-houses on one property, and that is due to we took a property that had a multi-house and it's now just one house on the property, so that's where that percentage changed. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but if there's something that jumps out at you, please let me know. You're going to see high numbers in the chapter lands, but that's only due to the rounding factors. If you have 785.
And it shows land down, but we didn't have enough sales. There, like you said, 3 arm's length land sales, but there were a lot more land sales, but we just can't designate them as arm's length.
So the reason that you're seeing a bigger amount in land down is we have what we call paper streets. So it is a development that has a subdivision plan. We were assessing them as individual parcels, but we have found in a review of property, when someone sells a large tract of land and then goes to do a subdivision, we had to actually lower the cost of the price for a paper street parcel, and it went from 50% to 20%. So we feel much more comfortable having the overall value of the property, and then you split it into 20 lots. It is correlating to the sale price.
Yeah.
So those will go back up once they start building. I know one of them is already starting to carve out some road to build on, so you're going to see those go back up, but that is why land has dropped.
Okay.
So with that said, there is a spreadsheet. I also printed one. Again, it is just real estate. This will be able to be available once the Department of Revenue certifies us, and it to go by address. And this is a quick reference that the board could say, let me look up this property or that property, and you could see the difference between FY19 and FY20, the ratio difference and the overall value difference. I had one
I'll take a
more.
peek.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's easier with
You
that.
check yours yet, Marilyn?
So,
Oh, online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I'm gonna just pass these on for Marilyn and Bill. Based on that spreadsheet that Marty is looking at, you will see that out of 5,474 parcels, 4,500 saw a 3% increase. So that was 82% of all properties will see that 3% increase. There were some that will see a decrease, and there will some that will see a larger increase. Now, an increase could be based on a cyclical inspection. If we went out, we visited approximately 1,000 homes. If there were changes to the property or anything that we picked up, someone could have went up a little bit higher. And then we had a lot of construction. So if you have a new home, you're going to see large construction additions to properties, etc. So you will see that the 82% of all of the homes will have the same type of an increase.
Okay.
Okay. So with that information, I don't know if the board has any questions that they feel that they need answered. I would like to be able to have the LA3 sales report, which are all of the sales that were reviewed to bring our values to where they are, and also the LA15. Those are not on your computer, hence why this is the LA3 and all, LA3 sales, all of the
For
sales.
the whole year.
Yes, and I hand wrote.
The 202 sales.
So there was actually more than 202. There were 301 total sales of single family, of which 202 are
There you
arm's
go.
length. But we have to include even non-arm's length in
Okay.
here.
For the report, yeah.
Right,
Not for our increase or decrease in values.
right.
So these are everything we've been reviewing every
Yeah,
month.
this is LA3s we do by month, just
Yeah.
like we did August. Then it's put in here. And you gotta review each sale right now.
So when we enter all of that information into the gateway system, it automatically produces or populates the LA15, which is the adjustment report, and that's where you'll also see where our medians fall, how many sales there were.
Can I get a copy of this at some point? Or is that,
Absolutely.
thank you, ma'am.
And so there is one more report that is in here. This report is, it's a newer report. If we have no amended growth to report before, we didn't have to sign anything. Now we have to sign saying
There's
no,
none.
we did not miss anything last year that now we're gonna claim growth for this year. So that's just kind of a,
Where are we at new growth right now?
so
That's somewhere.
again, I mentioned to you that personal property is still a little
Okay, yeah.
sticking. I can,
Minus personal property.
and nothing is certified as of yet, but this is where it
Okay.
looks to be for real estate.
Alright.
And I did
Better
just,
than I thought.
print, I think we're about 100,000 on personal property,
Pretty
but
strong.
yeah. So I'm thinking maybe 4,
Not bad.
and I think we were budgeting 250. But again, it has to be
Especially
certified.
with lack of new construction.
Mhm. Yeah, you know what we've had the most new construction in is commercial.
Commercial property
Yeah.
is soaring in town
It is.
Is
for
that?
our November meeting.
So these values that, let me see, you have the new growth, so you have the values, and I also have the LA4. These values are ready to be certified for real estate only. Everything's calculated based on all of the values that we just discussed. The growth is ready to go. It's just my personal property
Yep.
that, unfortunately, due to an issue that I hopefully will be resolved, has been resolved, but I need to test it first before I move along. So I'm anticipating by like 4 o'clock tomorrow it to be completed. I don't know how the board would feel about me providing you these documents via email for you to review, and if you at that point can approve the personal property, I could then get it submitted. I do need to have signatures on file in order to submit. So I can say signatures on file as long as I know that you have committed to, send me an email back and said I'm 100% supportive of it. Or you could go onto the gateway system yourself and you could put your name in. So
our new growth, which is revenue, on the revenue side, which is good, higher, better,
Right.
helps our tax rate. I always hope for more, but it's not bad.
No.
Yeah, you wanna see this?
I think I've
So 308,000 plus maybe more for personal, so
I'm thinking about 100.
so maybe 400,000, which is pretty darn good for the town.
And that is providing that the Department of Revenue certifies.
off.
They may say, no, we don't.
Am I signing something here, or are you just showing that to me?
That is for real estate only.
Right.
Once I have the personal property, then I'm going to
When will you be sending that? Like I said, I would be away, so.
That's true. You're gonna be away and then I'm gonna be away, so it might have to wait, or I could send it to
Or
you.
do I need to write off that you can use my stamp?
Oh, no, can't do that.
Okay.
No.
Or Kelly can sign my name?
I can.
Oh, I didn't say that aloud, did
Well,
I?
as long as we have 2 of the 3 board members also, I have the right to
Okay.
submit, and then I'd be happy to send it to you via email, and you can look at it,
Right.
and if you say, hold the phones, don't
Yeah.
submit.
If I came in at 3:30 tomorrow, would it be available?
Maybe. If you call me,
Try 3:45.
I'll let you know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the little script that they wrote will allow me to do what I need
Yeah.
to do to finish. They suggested that I pull an interim save in case if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, we can revert. I'm almost thinking of doing it first thing tomorrow, so they have the newest, latest, greatest backup. It's just one of those things you hate to push the button because you don't know what you're gonna get. So, couple properties, and I don't know, these were my special interest properties that I know that we always watch to make sure that
Oh,
our
Diane
values,
and I discussed this.
and we felt that with income and expense that we had and with some appeals that we have, that we were hopefully addressing them all correctly.
Oh, I see. Industrial and a residential and a commercial. So we're looking at these individually?
You can just, I'm just letting you
No,
know that
you are looking at
I
them
have
individually?
been,
Yeah.
absolutely. What we do is I have a code on certain properties that is, buildings that have been vacant, buildings that have maybe a little bit more vacancy than normal that we always try to make sure that we stay on top of. So that is what you have there. So it sounds like we have the LA3 and the LA13 signed off. No,
Yep.
I'm sorry, the LA3 and the LA15 signed off, and the LA13A, and so
On
we'll
deck.
just have to do the last two once my personal property is complete. Okay. If anyone has any questions, because I know I threw a lot out at you, please don't
Could you
hesitate.
repeat that?
Wait, I have it on tape.
Yeah. So upcoming seminars, we already have done that.
Right, if anyone does have an interest in any of them, please let me know. I am not going to the MAA Fall Conference. I'm got a little bit too much work and also training with a new employee that we're just keeping our heads above water right now, so it's not the perfect time. But I am gonna go to the November 7th, and we are taking both staff, and we have a senior abatement tax work-off participant who's going to cover the office.
Which one you going to, you said?
The November 7th.
Okay.
Yes.
Because of the menu?
No,
Yeah, okay.
but they're gonna be having the registrar of deeds assessing issues with using the registry and how they can better assist us. And also Attorney Rosemary Crawley, who's going to be discussing the latest appellate tax board cases.
That's
That's a
the,
good one.
Yeah. That is the November 7th one.
And December 5th, you're going to that one.
Absolutely. It's the annual meeting. We have to continue to elect our e-board to the Hampden, Hampshire County.
You're on any board, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Actually, I keep saying, oh, anyone can take my place.
You taking over as president this year?
Well,
Like the board of realtors, the person on the second in line moves up to the next.
Well, I used to be a little bit below, and then
Right.
I did move up, and I'm not quite sure what the president, I'm hearing he's gonna be retiring soon.
He retired 10 years ago. All right, that does it for seminars, and now we have a Chapter 61B application.
So there are 8 of them. Everyone has been in the program right along,
Yep.
or relatively in the last year or two. So I'm going to just hand you each packet. Please know that everyone is in Chapter 61B. It's either open, natural, and wild, or it is recreation, and every person has met all of the requirements that they need. So you might find some people on the back side of the application, or you may find them, I'll try to pass it on to you, but I don't want to exclude you from seeing who it is. And 61B can be completed in open session because there is no personal information attached to it. 61A, when we do go to do it, because there is farm income and income tax forms, we have to go into executive.
Like that house, huh?
And these are for fiscal
this one's signature.
2021.
Yep.
My pen just melts.
Do you want me to grab you another one?
Yes.
Not as fancy.
Thank you. It's all scribbled.
you run out of ink?
Yeah, I just changed pens.
These are truly recreational.
Yep.
People get very confused because the program is 61B recreation, but it also allows for open, natural, and wild. So when they say recreation, they go, well,
Can be open natural right after 7 o'clock, you know.
yeah, that's true. Paper clip goes together, it just came apart. Please. It's the golf course.
Yep. They're not in any order, are they?
No,
Maryland's behind, I'm just curious.
I know. I'm looking.
that's okay. And once they're signed, it would be the appropriate time for executive session.
Do they still assume subdivision? Remember, we used to battle other towns where 1,000 feet of frontage, and they used to go building lot, building lot. They were not allowed to assume subdivision, or they were. Remember, like 15 years ago, Munson with Dave.
So, the Department of Revenue does require us to do the highest and best use, but it's really dependent on the community. Some people like our community if you have a lot of frontage
Right.
and you have a good amount of acres that we can see a subdivision happening. We might put a higher development on the excess acres. Someone might put front feet, an additional front footage amount. Some people do secondary lots, so it's really up to the municipality.
Could they cut it into 5 lots if they wanted to at full value?
Generally they don't.
I know, but
Generally they
remember.
don't, because then there is actual construction work that has to be done to turn them into 5 lots. If you turned it into 5 lots, you should be able to have the ability to have total access to.
Well, not construction, but, you know, they sell lots that are fully wooded lots. There's no construction involved.
But do they have access? Is it on the road?
Yeah, I'm talking about frontage.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
You can do that, okay. All right, we all set with the applications, Bill? Yes, he is, okay. Make a motion to go into executive session to discuss motor vehicle excise abatement applications, update on an ATV case, and we will be returning to open session only to record our vote. Take a roll call vote. Bill Johnson?
Yes.
Marilyn Gadini?
Yes.
Marty Grudgeon, yes.